Okay, y'all, I had an insight, mostly from reading. Happy Monday. Okay, so I've been reading The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, and kind of just started it, a few chapters in, and lots of it talks about perception and how you can how perception, power, and aura contributes to a person and their identity, or rather how they're perceived. And today at work, the random thought came to me. The thought of not actors, just although often maybe associated with actors, but celebrities and what makes them so famous. And it occurred to me that fame is just an illusion, because here's what I was thinking and my kind of thought process. You develop a skill in a particular thing, and what you can do with that skill is you can market it and sell that skill to other people, whether it be like carpentry, acting, some particular thing that you're good at. You can sell it to other people. But for some reason, our society will kind of put certain skills or people, at least here in America, from my perspective, the way I see it is our society will kind of put certain categories of people into certain levels of popularity, attention, or fame. Exhibit A being people in Hollywood, actors, actresses, people in power, actors, actresses. Yes, they can act, but beyond that, actors and actresses from Hollywood being the center of attention in media, there's no real reason to it. I was thinking, they're not that different from me. It's just that we have a different set of skills and a different background. We're all here, though, in the same journey, just doing different things. But for some reason, the way our system is structured is they are perceived as higher beings almost. And now it's kind of the same way with influencers in general, not just actors, but other people on social media, younger people. And I just thought oh wow, being in the right place at the right time with certain skills, you can enhance those skills by selling your skills, and kind of portraying yourself as larger. I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but I was thinking you can attract that aura of power to yourself, and if you can market that and sell that, it'll just completely compound. If people talk about you and then you become you have a mysterious factor about yourself, because another thing is there's a new movie coming out. I don't know the name of it, but unfortunately, or it might be Steelers or something like that. Anyways, I think it's starring Austin Butler, and if anybody knows Action Bronson, he's another pretty cool guy. He has a little TV show. He's an artist, makes music, and he did an episode of his TV show. It's a food show where he goes around and eats street food from different places, and he's doing it with Austin Butler and maybe the other co-star of that movie. And I thought wow, he seems like a really cool guy, Austin. And then it occurred to me, he's no different than I am. He just he just has a particular skill set that is incredibly glorified within the media, being an actor, like a good-looking actor. So I don't really know what you want to do with this information, but it's kind of just like, I was just thinking about this today. So like, yeah, how could you apply this to yourself or like somebody like me? Well, I mean, talking about like having a skill, like obviously that's kind of something everybody should develop on their own. It's like a skill of some sort that you can market and sell to other people. That's how you make money and become valuable to society and those around you, is you develop personal skills that contribute to other people. So do that. That'll help. What else? Okay, yeah, back to the book. So, the book that I was reading, 48 Laws of Power. I'm like 6 chapters in. It's 48 chapters. I recommend it. Robert, if you're reading this or seeing this, you should sponsor me. This is a great book. And I enjoy it, and I encourage you all to read it. You can learn something valuable. Another book that I'm rereading it actually, is Chapter House Dune. It's a sci-fi book because I didn't want to be reading just one like self-help book right now. Not that that's boring, but I love sci-fi, so if I want to read like sci-fi before I go to bed, I like to do that. If anybody is interested in a sci-fi series, read Dune. It's my second run through the book series. It's just delightful in every way possible. Okay, when I was at work, it wasn't super busy, but it wasn't slow. It was a pretty chill day. And I was sitting at my desk and kind of had like a little bit of time to just chill out. And I was just thinking again. And this time, I had some sticky notes with me. I just started writing down all my thoughts because I like to journal. I actually got them right here, funny enough. And I was just writing to myself about the value of creating artwork. Not necessarily artwork, but being creative, where you are constantly creating. Because if you are constantly creating, you're benefiting yourself, which I believe ultimately benefits society as a whole. Which I know it might seem selfish to like only be doing art or creating in your self-interest, but I actually disagree. Because I think that if everybody in the world was able to completely create anything on their own, that the world would be better off in like a hypothetical situation, because you're still gonna have like mathematicians and architects, scientists, like ecologists, farmers. You're still gonna have those people. But if there was just more people focusing on creating things that they want to create, there will probably be better inventions. And if people are creating like so much, I feel that these creations would lead to a better society. Like people would create something and that would allow other people to create more things from that. You know what I mean? It compounds, as opposed to people working at corporate jobs like myself and just like doing monotonous tasks, you know? So hopefully humanity's headed in the direction of being able to allow human individuals to just have more free time to just do artwork. And when I say artwork, I don't mean like painting. I mean artwork. I'm using artwork as a very general term. When I say art, I just mean the ability to create anything, like something new. It could be a building. That's art, in my opinion. So we need more creation, because that's what drives humanity forward, is new creation. Also, this past weekend, and this morning on the way to work, I was listening to a podcast. I completed one whole podcast, and then I started another one this morning. Both of them being the Joe Rogan Experience, and both of them being with Duncan Trussell, one of Joe Rogan's like old time friends. I find that particular duo of people to be so awesome to listen to, because they're such like old time friends and stoners. So they'll just go like deep down a rabbit hole of like a super like philosophical thought or like creative idea. And that's completely that's like what I want to be talking about right now. And like immersing myself in as a person. Like I want to be talking with other people about stuff like that. God damn. You know, like they were talking a lot about human consciousness and AI and like aliens. I mean, it's classic Joe and Duncan. Like if you've ever listened to either of those guys, especially together, that's like typical of them, but it never gets old. And it was just it honestly felt great, because Duncan Trussell is such a hippie, cool dude, but not like a hippie bad type of guy, or like as like it might be perceived as. He's a cool dude, and they've obviously done like so many psychedelics, and they have such interesting not new ideas, but just like ideas that go against the conventional wisdom and like the conventional ways of the government and what you should be doing. Because those are two outcasts. You know, they didn't go to school. They grew up probably with not a lot of money, and they're comedians, and they're the ultimate creators. So when it comes to a person like somebody like me who wants to create more as well now, because I think that's what humans ultimately are best at, is creating. It's like very inspiring to listen to those two guys, because you can learn a lot, and it's just like helpful to have a good word from somebody, because not everybody gets that. It can be very beneficial to have that go ahead where somebody says, you can do it, go take that step. Because sometimes even myself, I'm scared to take that first step. But that's like one reason, that's one example of how like a role model can be beneficial. Is if you can have a role model of some sort that you can, what's the word for it, relate to and inspire you, that's very beneficial. You know, for example, if you're a comedian, you probably have a particular role model in mind, not necessarily to copy, but to draw inspiration from, and to allow you to keep pushing and creating in times of despair when you don't want to. That's the true value of a role model, in my opinion. I think role models are there to help push you while you're not doing so good, as opposed to role models being there, yes, for structural integrity, to show you what's right and how you should probably do something. But it gets to a certain point is, I mean, I guess in a sense they're a teacher as well. It gets to a certain point where once you develop certain skills and layer your skills and gain more knowledge, where if you have a creator or if you have a coach, instructor, somebody to provide you with this information, gets to the point where once you've learned so much, you have to stop learning from them, because what you're doing is you're creating boundaries based on what you're doing. Because ultimately, when you're making art and creating something new, there shouldn't be boundaries as to what you can and cannot do. So yes, teachers are important, but recognize the threshold of when you should break free from the chains that you create. All right, y'all. I don't want to keep rambling because I think right now I'm struggling to articulate a little bit right now, and I don't want to be forcing out too much right now. You know, I kind of want to let my thoughts simmer and then provide you with a condensed, more articulated version of my thoughts. And right now, I'm out. So, if you enjoyed this, thank you. And I'll see y'all soon.